Kylian Mbappe has finally moved to Real Madrid, which means this saga is finally over. Thank God. But with that said, I felt like it was good to just have a whole video that covers pretty much the very beginning of the Mbappe saga all the way till the end. This video will be a mix of older footage from past videos that have gone over the Mbappe transfer, and then there will be some new information that is being recorded right now that'll talk about the actual process of Real Madrid signing Mbappe. Also, if you're wondering what this jersey is, it's Kazakhstan. But anyways, without further ado, let the saga commence. Here is 14-year-old Kylian Mbappe in his bedroom. My guy had the K-pop stan room, but instead of pictures of engineered human beings overworked to pure exhaustion, it was Real Madrid and Cristiano Ronaldo. At that same age, Mbappe attended training at Valdebebas, Real's training complex. A year later, he told France Football his dream was to return to Real Madrid via the front door one day, having proved to them that he was a top player. The funny thing is, Mbappe would have joined Real Madrid's youth academy had Zinedine Zidane not become manager and stayed as assistant. Fast forward to the 2016-17 season. The freshman with his 15 goals in Liga helped Monaco win the title. His 6 goals in the Champions League that same year helped them reach the semis. In the following season, most people expected Mbappe to move to his dream club, and he came close. Initially, Real Madrid tried to set up a deal between Manchester United and Gareth Bale. This would ensure Mbappe extended playing time as the World Cup was the very next year. But Bale refused. He wanted to stay for at least one more season. Then there was the Cristiano Ronaldo ego worries. When Gareth Bale was signed in 2013, his fee was more expensive than that of Ronaldo's back in 2009. Because Ronaldo wasn't so happy about the fee breaking his world record transfer, Madrid lied to the public and said Bale's fee was lower than Ronaldo's. Although Ronaldo no longer held the world transfer record, there were still worries from Real Madrid that Ronaldo wouldn't be too happy about someone coming into the club for 180 million. On top of that, Madrid were also worried about the 18-year-old being paid nearly the same wages as Ronaldo. Zidane also played a part in Real stepping away from bidding. Mbappe was a generational talent, no doubt, but he only had 32 senior starts. And at the price of 180 million, that is a bit risky. Now, funnily enough, going back to the Ronaldo ordeal, he would leave Real Madrid the very next season. But as we all know, this would not be the end of Madrid's mission Mbappe. It was only the beginning, really. Into the 2019-20 offseason, Mbappe, now 20 years old, scored 33 league goals and assisted 17 in 29 games. But the attention during the offseason, however, was more on his teammate Neymar. Rumors had it that Neymar told PSG he wanted to leave, and immediately he was linked with a move back to Barcelona. But there were also rumors about the Brazilian going to their rivals, Real Madrid. However, Madrid was more focused on Mbappe, with President Florentino Perez waiting for the next summer to sign him. The fee would be cheaper as well, as Mbappe's contract lasted until 2022. So no move was made for Neymar, who had a 200 million price tag put on him, otherwise any chance of signing Mbappe would be much more difficult. Although, Madrid did sign Eden Hazard, and during his presentation, fans in the stadium made it very clear they wanted Mbappe. What's wrong with you? In summer 2020, Dark Lord Perez's Mbappe plans were foiled by the COVID-19 pandemic and Madrid stadium renovations. A few days later, Mbappe himself said he was staying at PSG for at least one more year. The funniest thing to come out of this were rumors of cash-strapped Real Madrid saving up 300 million to buy Mbappe. Unlike 2020, the very next year was much more eventful for the Mbappe saga. First was a teaser made during an interview about the Super League. Tranquilo. And then a few months later, near deadline day, news comes out about Mbappe ignoring multiple contract renewal offers, adding that if he does stay, he will leave as a free agent in 2022. That followed with the storm of Madrid bids. 160 million, rejected. 170 plus add-ons, rejected. All while this chaos was happening, El Chiringuito was becoming more and more hilarious by the day. And for some reason, the brother of the Emir of Qatar was throwing shade. Don't you just love this sport? Real then threw their final bid of 200 million. Which PSG just flat out ignored. It was pretty clear that PSG did not care about money. They didn't need it. So no matter what, Mbappe would be staying at the club for at least one more season. In the end, Real Madrid stepped away and bought another French ultra talent in Eduardo Camavinga. Now 2022 was when things got even more chaotic. First, it started with PSG in January confident that they could extend Mbappe's contract. But words, they mean nothing to Florentino. The president was highly convinced he would sign Mbappe for free in the summer. I mean, he's been been convinced Mbappe would be saying a la Madrid in a packed stadium for 3 years now. And how fitting for the Champions League to host the first ever Mbappe derby. But throughout the rest of the season, yeah, I'm saying the rest of the season, not even off season, this was all happening while both clubs were still playing games. But rumors were going back and forth. Mbappe is staying, Mbappe is leaving, Mbappe is 100% staying. For Real Madrid, Florentino was doing all he could to convince Mbappe to join Los Blancos. And the stakes were even higher for PSG, because if Mbappe decided to leave, their credibility would plummet. So Paris Saint-Germain, in absolute desperation, used all means to make sure this man stayed. We had the President of France and the Emir of Qatar twerking for this 23-year-old. Throughout the month of May, many offers were set on the table for Kylian Mbappe to decide. He agreed on terms with Real Madrid and PSG, and then announced he would make a decision on May 21st. This man really pulled a LeBron. It looked like Mbappe was going to join Real Madrid, especially with him always mentioning the Spanish club in a positive light. I mean, this is his dream club. This is the best opportunity for him to join. But in a twist that Saturday, Mbappe cucked the Spanish club and chose Paris Saint-Germain.
Soy bobo. Soy tonto. Yo creo en la palabra de la gente.
Kylian signs a 3-year contract extension with the Parisians, making him the highest paid player in the world. He will be making 57 million net per season. That is more than half of what Real Madrid offered him. Add in all the various bonuses and he could make up to 300 million in 3 years. This man is getting paid. But it doesn't exactly end there. PSG have given a 23-year-old man the LeBron treatment. He has a say in the sporting director, manager, and even players.
God Emperor, I believe we should extend Leandro Paredes' contract.
He also gets to choose the PSG chefs. So from now on, God Emperor Mbappe will be only served KFC limited edition Krispy Kreme chicken sandwiches. Now, we just talked about quite a ton of money, but in Mbappe's words, he said it's not about the money, it's about the project. Although, he is still being paid significantly more than what he would have been paid if he joined Real Madrid. But said project has already come into effect. Sporting director Leonardo has been sent packing, and in replacement, Mbappe has told PSG to appoint Luis Campos. He was formerly sporting director at Lille and also Monaco when Mbappe was there. In general though, it feels like PSG are going in the right direction. Along with these changes, there's a plan to fire many staff who have used the club for their own benefit. Now what about transfers this summer? Mbappe reportedly wants Ousmane Dembele to join the club. And that's not even the biggest shocker. He apparently wants Neymar to be sold. Now take those rumors with a grain of salt, nothing is confirmed. But what about on the other side of things? How do Real feel? How does the La Liga president feel? Javier Tebas, the La Liga president, called the new contract an insult to football and said the PSG president is as dangerous as the Super League. Oh, and also, remember that little brotherhood that Mbappe and Benzema had during the Euros of last year? I think it's dead. He recently posted this picture of Tupac, and let me give you some context. Who you see behind Tupac is the eventual betrayer of Tupac. By the way, if it looks like I'm sweating a lot and it looks like I'm dying, it's because I am. The AC broke. Going into the 2022-23 season, Mauricio Pochettino was fired and was replaced with Christophe Galtier. It wasn't Mbappe's first choice for manager, which was probably Zinedine Zidane, but Galtier was a good choice at the time. He had just won the league with Lille and finished runners-up in the Coupe de France with Nice the previous campaign. Another part of the project was an emphasis on younger talents and the youth academy, something PSG had ignored multiple times throughout the club's existence, and each time it bit them back in the ass pretty hard. So to begin, there was a max exodus of mid in the summer window. And then came the first signings of Project Mbappe. Nuno Mendes, Hugo Ekitike, Nordi Mukiele, Renato Sanchez, Fabian Ruiz, and Vitinha. Very much a mix of promising players, players at their peak, and Carlos Soler, who basically only moved to PSG because Peter Lim is a #1 Nasser dick rider. Initially, things started well, with PSG sitting first with the most goals scored after 6 league games. But come the Champions League, the Paris Saint-Germain clown show began. Back in late October, sources were already saying Kylian Mbappe felt betrayed by all the broken promises PSG made. It was said that Mbappe had been let down because he was supposed to be the heart of PSG's new project, but didn't believe the current reality of the club reflected that. I mean, no shit. it's been 143 days since the extension. But it goes a little bit deeper, because despite PSG's extended unbeaten run, they weren't exactly playing that well. There are a lot of concerns about Christophe Galtier lacking in tactical knowledge. The Champions League displays were certainly showing that, with the Parisians lacking in off-the-ball quality, covering the least amount of distance of any other team in the competition. And it was evident that PSG were still very reliant on their individual talent, so nothing's really changed there either. And going back to Mbappe, despite the fact that he had 12 goals in all competitions already, he wasn't exactly happy with the role he was playing. Instead of a lone striker, the forward wanted to be paired with a second striker, kind of like his role in the national team. PSG tried to satisfy his request, but failed miserably.
Damn. Damn. Damn.
Mbappe was also promised the arrival of a world-class defender in the summer. Milan Skriniar was linked with the club, but nothing ever came to pass. Speaking of transfers though, up to this point, all of Luis Campos' transfers weren't performing at all. It was either that, or every time they touched the ball, their ligaments would turn into milk powder. And then there was the Neymar situation. Mbappe was told Neymar would be sold in the summer. However, not only is he still around, he's actually thriving in the playmaking role Mbappe desired. See, it's already a bad idea to promise your star player with an ego the size of Jupiter the role of God Emperor, but it's even worse though when you barely fulfill any of those promises. Then to make things worse, Mbappe got injured at the beginning of February. He was able to come back as a sub in PSG's last 16 tie versus Bayern, but his sharpness was nowhere near where it needed to be. And because the team was still heavily reliant on Mbappe, that pretty much sealed another early exit in the Champions League. However, following PSG's elimination, Mbappe was asked about his future with the club and said, quote, No, I'm calm. The only thing that matters to me this season is winning the championship, and then we'll see. Listen, I don't really blame him considering there have been so many broken promises already, but that definitely didn't sound like I'm 100% behind this project. Kylian still had 1 year left on his contract, but that didn't stop tabloids from trying to cook up Mbappe to Real rumors. In response to those rumors, however, Mbappe said they were fake and that he was happy at PSG. However, owner Nasser Al-Khelaifi, as he always does, gets ahead of himself and says that, quote, if Mbappe wants to stay, he needs to sign a contract. Which sure, makes sense, you don't want to lose Mbappe on a free, but at the same time, the club is literally owned by the Qatari state, like I feel like you'll recover pretty easily. But that didn't matter as Mbappe was excluded from PSG's summer tour with rumors that he would never play again unless he signed a new contract. However, the club reintegrated Mbappe not too soon after into the squad after some, quote, constructive and positive discussions. Translation, we realize if we don't play our star player this season, we're Going into the new season, PSG continued to overhaul the squad as both Lionel Messi and Neymar left, marking the end of the funniest big three since the 2017 Oklahoma Thunder. PSG also saw the departure of Marco Verratti. For years, he had been PSG's best midfielder, but the time felt right to leave with him slowly declining. Then, in came the imports. Milan Skriniar, after numerous years of being rumored to move, finally took his talents to Paris. Lucas Hernandez was brought in to further bolster the defense for good measure. As mentioned before, it was said that Mbappe wanted Ousmane Dembele to join a couple years back, and now he's here too. And then came the influx of promising youngsters. Manuel Ugarte, Lee Kang-in, Gonzalo Ramos, Bradley Barcola, and Randall Kolo Muani. Don't forget you also had Warren Zaire-Emery from the academy coming off a really good campaign last season. By no means was this a team that would immediately chase European glory, but give it time and you would start to see the flowers blossom. Mbappe did not give it even half a season. After staying relatively radio silent, a bombshell dropped the day after PSG's first leg against Sociedad when Kylian Mbappe told the club he was leaving as a free agent. Without context from this season, you would have thought that PSG were in an even worse spot than they were in the last season. But quite frankly, it was the exact opposite. There was way less drama, players actually caring about the team they play for, and also not to mention, the team reached the Champions League semi-finals, where ironically enough, Mbappe went missing. But trust me, this bombshell didn't just come out of thin air. To be fair, Mbappe had wanted to leave for Real Madrid for God knows how long, but there's a little more to this one actually. Back in January of this year, Real Madrid was coming up with their final attempt to sign Kylian Mbappe. However, because this had happened 2 times already, there was a lot of disagreement within the club. Many members were worried that signing Mbappe would lead to economic issues as Real were trying to cut back on the wages at the club, or even sporting issues. Some didn't think bringing in a new top earner would run with those who had been at the club for years and had won way more trophies. However, at the end of the day, no one was going to stop Florentino Perez's obsession of Kylian Mbappe. And so, Operation Mbappe restarted. again. Throughout January, Perez and Mbappe would speak with each other in private on the phone to negotiate a deal. The public didn't know a thing at the time, but things did seem a bit fishy. Because while Real Madrid were profusely denying any Mbappe rumors, the world's worst liar responded to some reporters saying, quote, "In 2022, I didn't know my decision until May. If I know what I want to do, I shouldn't let the decision drag on. It wouldn't make any sense." Then a few days later, you had owner Nasser Al-Khelaifi still delusional in thinking he had any kind of control anymore, saying he wants Mbappe to stay. Going back to the private conversations, however, Perez lined up an offer to Mbappe that would make him the highest earner at the club. Mbappe was also very strict on his image rights, which is really funny because now I'm wondering just how much money it costed to have him feature in this ad.
人少风景好的小城上哪儿搜？小红书。好吃不排队的餐馆上哪儿搜？小红书。
But in order to get around that problem, Perez discussed how a move to Real Madrid would see his profile at a sporting and market level skyrocket. Then, after the bombshell in February, Mbappe reportedly went to Barcelona 10 days later to sign a deal. This was also done in secrecy to protect both parties. In fact, not even manager Carlo Ancelotti was aware that Mbappe had already signed. But then, come May, things start to slowly unfold to the public. 3 days after Mbappe disappeared against Dortmund in the Champions League semis, he released a video on Twitter confirming that he was indeed leaving PSG. Then, just 2 days after winning their 15th Champions League, Real Madrid confirmed the signing of Kylian Mbappe on a 5-year contract that sees him become the highest paid player at the club he's always wanted to play for as a kid. Wow, no one saw this coming. Those secret talks really did it, Florentino. Well done. Wow. I guess I will say though, it was pretty funny that despite the fact everyone knew that Mbappe was going to Real Madrid, some people were still delusional in thinking he would go somewhere else. And by some, I mean Arsenal fans. But then in a video where a fan tells Mbappe to go to Arsenal, he rejects by saying, quote, "It's too cold." Mbappe's a better man than me, because I would have just responded by saying, "Fuck no," and laughing all the way back to the bank. But oh my fucking god, man. It's finally over. I'm so sick and tired of talking about this. I only talk about it because it's a current event. And that's what this entire niche is about. Talking about current event stuff in football, because that's the only way your channel's gonna survive. Is this breaking the fourth wall? But I'm more so just celebrating the fact that this whole shit show is over more than the actual transfer itself. Honestly, all the hype for this transfer has disappeared. Like, it was really funny when Dark Lord Perez was cucked, when the La Liga president was cucked, but after that, it's just become annoying. But I regret to inform you, there's a bit more information that we still have to go over. Kill me. Because in Mbappe's first press conference after signing with Real Madrid, he just had to not shut the fuck up about PSG and had to talk about how, quote, certain things and people at the club had made him unhappy. Like, I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it, Mbappe. But you're at your childhood club. Just talk about how grateful you are to be at Real Madrid. Please, just put me out of my misery. The PSG, though, reportedly felt that Mbappe was being ungrateful and responded by refusing to pay him back his 80 million worth of wages to recover from the fact that the club had basically been fleeced in this deal. Mbappe, though, was not backing down, however. He needed that 80 million. Oh, he needed it for sure, and reportedly sought to be paid his remaining wages due to PSG benching him after his initial announcement. Okay, I know I'm being a little harsh on Mbappe, because also at the same time, the stuff PSG is doing is ridiculous. I mean, every single party in this whole thing has been ridiculous. None of this is on the script, by the way. I'm just ranting for absolutely no reason. Okay, but I think that covers the bulk of this. I think. So now looking into the future, the question is, can Mbappe finally win a Champions League trophy? I wouldn't say he'll do it in his first season, but come the next few seasons, I feel like we definitely will see Mbappe lift the trophy. Also, I know not as many people care about this club and its future, besides me, because my job is to professionally hate on this club, but how will PSG fare in the future? Either this team can never fully recover from such a loss and kind of fizzle into mediocrity in European football, or maybe they can focus on being a team that actually has no one that is above the club for the first time in like 5 years. And maybe we'll actually start to see a really exciting, young, and talented team. But what do you guys think? Are you sad? Are you crying that it's over? Don't be. Smile. Because it happened. But actually, what do you guys think? How will Mbappe fare at Real Madrid? Let me know. And of course, a massive shout out to all our members, including Janos Barash, Brazilian Fury, Respect the Jeff, Othman JN, Habakkuk, Anazir Makalankam, Alex Rod, Ulta, Miguel Munoz, Return Fire, Rory Burns, Slatterkit, Snifrix, Takuoka Fan, The Cypriot 35, Not Windows 95 Man, Kentra Agatra, Big Boris the Baby Eater II, Kerbo, Unkwell, St. Terrence, Sylvia Citrus, Ryan Jans, Wise Orange, Rashford Enthusiast, Cocosaurus Rex, La James Bronze, Samu, Just MRC, Cheesebait, Cooper Rory, The Somali Pirate, Claymore Roomba, Winder Gel, M4 Does Stuff, Finn Likes Rugby More, Davox, The Portugeiser, TPSK25, Polar Protos, Van Fan, Lucian Von Croix, Ethan Bennett Loves Kavicha, Gazegos Breshchakivics, Mano Tango Fe, Adrian, A Ghostly Owl, Chris Bisconsi, Dominic Griffin, Kyler Krebs, Mohammed Altanib, Nish, Patrick Barley, Rashford God 5, Raspberry Ale, Subscribe to Tim, and Unbroken Persona. I don't know if you can hear my chair creaking, but anyways, if you want to become a member of the channel, there's a link down below and up in the annotations. You can follow my Twitter if you want, follow my Instagram if you like, follow my Twitch, planning to probably stream a decent bit more. But yeah, until then, I'll see you guys.